Now the situation is, the owner did just tell me, hey hybrid, I can't fire this bad boy up. Can you help me out?
It all started with an HPR racing RS4 and it will never end. It does not matter if the electric is a giant X-Max. Hybrid only cares about nitro running, rich and loud. Can he get a hell yeah? It's all about the fire in the hole. Hell yeah, hybrid will never call a nitro a toy because the work survives. It will never quit, bringing old nitros back to life. That's how you make nitro great again. Can he get a hell yeah? Hell yeah.
What is going on, everybody? This is a fifth scale. Some people call them a gasser, but I call them by the proper name, and that is a Baja. So let me give you a little bit of history on this one. As you guys could tell, it has a good amount of dirt on it. It was purchased about 5 years ago, brand new. This is the 29cc model. It appears to be stock. Now the situation is, the owner did just tell me, hey hybrid, I can't fire this bad boy up. Can you help me out? And I told him, no problem, bro. You know, I was trying to run my Duratrax over here, but of course, if you guys know anything about Duratrax, they are only good on paper. That means a situation went down, can't do a video on the Duratrax. So, Baja. The story is, it won't start. Now, we have fuel in here. I did just ask the owner to empty the old fuel in the tank. So let's confirm that we no longer have the old fuel. Does it look clean in there? All right, the pickup looks okay. I could see it right there. Well, guys, just gonna put some fuel in it, try to fire it up. Now, my prediction, it most likely has a bad carburetor. You know, this fuel, I did ask the owner, it is regular pump fuel with two-stroke oil. That means we have ethanol in the fuel. Hopefully, the carb is still okay. I'm gonna add a little fuel. Unfortunately, these bottles are designed like really poorly. But for now, for primary testing, or should I say preliminary, grammar is important. Okay, yeah, a little more. I don't see the fuel pickup covered. Just so the fuel, yeah, just pour that in there. We're not gonna use that anyway, so. A little more, I could see the fuel pickup. All right, that's good, yeah, that's good. All right, the goal is to get the fuel pickup to be covered in fuel. You don't want that thing to be sucking in air. All right, so we got fuel. I'm gonna close her up. Good thing I like the smell of gasoline in the mornings and lunch and right after dinner. All right, so next thing, one bad thing I do want to tell you guys, the battery in this is dead, but it really doesn't matter. You know, as long as the carb is at idle, we will still do our best to try to fire this up. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come to this side. I'm gonna prime. All right, so the primer bulb at least is not cracked. That usually does happen. Bulb is not cracked. All right, choke, I'm not gonna use the choke. At this point, I think I've primed it. What I'm gonna do a couple small pulls. The primer bulb does not prime it, it only builds fuel line pressure. This, in fact, is priming the engine. The compression appears to be good, very important. If you got bad compression, this goes for gas and nitro, you will not have a good day. All right, so primed it. Let me press the primer bulb a couple more times. At this point, the system should be primed. Assuming the needles themselves on the carb are okay and the carb is not garbage, which hopefully it will be okay, this thing should be a runner. Let's try to yell fire in the gas hole. We got a good question here from the side of the crew. The question is, how does something like this get spark? And I know some of you out there, maybe 4%, are wondering the same. So if you're one of those 4%ers, give me a hell yeah in the comments. So spark, these things have a coil on the inside. If you remove this pull starter assembly, there is a flywheel and there's a coil. It's all tied into the system, so when you pull the cord, the coil will generate spark, send it directly through the spark wire and directly to the NGK spark plug. It's a really good self-contained system. The coils themselves are pretty inexpensive. The spark plugs are automotive grade. Honestly, checking spark is a primary thing to do, but we're gonna see if we got any fire in the hole now, and then we'll go on with the next process of elimination, action. All right, so this is idle basically. I could tell because the brake's a little engaged. I don't want this thing to go into full throttle. All right, fire in the hole, I hope. Normally, if it doesn't fire after like 6 tugs, you either got to prime more or you got a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we got a situation. I'm going to prime a little more. I'm also going to turn the choke on. Sometimes, if it hasn't run a long time, you should use the choke. Oh, I heard a pop. I heard a pop. That means we got a little coil action. That means there was at least 1 ignition cycle. Guys, you can't kill a Baja until you do. But you won't see that on this channel. All right, we're going to try this again, everybody. It was a pop. That's a good sound. Fire in the hole. Can't kill it, everybody. Sickening. Baja gang. I'm amazed. Running nice too. That's how you do it. Running real good. All right, guys. We're gonna shut it down. Massively awesome surprise. Honestly, I didn't think this thing would fire up because like we had ethanol in the fuel, battery not charged. But like I said, you cannot kill a Baja, everybody. Good news is it runs. Bad news is the original charger is busted, my dudes, but that's okay. These cars use pretty generic Tamiya chargers. Usually the batteries are pretty good, so I'm going to recommend the owner find himself probably on Amazon a Baja charger. Now it's just going to be a regular cheapo charger. What matters is you have a male Tamiya plug like this, right? The male has a 2 prongs sticking out. It goes into the female, which is the 2 prongs that it plugs into. That's right, guys, I know my male and female. How many genders are there? You let me know. Other recommendation in terms of fuel. Now, yes, when I first got into this hobby, I ran pre-mixed ethanol fuel with you know, 25-to-1. This fuel bottle, over time, they basically all crack right here. It's a really bad design. I recommend the owner and everyone out here watching this, you guys pick up the Power Mix 25-to-1 fuel from VP. It's usually about $10 to $12 a quart. Now the thing is, yes, automotive pump fuel is significantly cheaper, but the truth is it will take you a real long time to even go through a quart of fuel on one of these. So you want the VP ethanol free 25-to-1 fuel. It's okay to leave fuel in there, but what happens is, the reason I say why you want ethanol free, these carburetors have small, delicate rubber diaphragms on the inside. Now, over time, the ethanol will expand that diaphragm, and eventually you will reach a point where your carb just simply will not flow fuel. This one seems to have somehow magically survived. I am frankly amazed. So well done, Baja. Now I'm looking over this. Other than the battery issue, the steering, we got like a 45-degree free play situation going on here. I could see on the inside there the servo horn itself. It's a little bit tough for you guys to see, but basically Bajas are not known to have great steering. The steering system has to be examined, but good news is it's almost about to be a runner. Well, the engine cannot be killed, but the rest of it, you know, time, as they say, takes its toll. We're gonna do one more fire in the hole just for good luck. All right, go ahead. I'm gonna hold the front end. Yeah, you gotta pull it vigorously. There you go. Perfect idle. Push through, baby. Good job. Great runner. All right, we're gonna shut it down. fired up beautifully. So the reason I wanted to fire it up a second time, that tells us that the fuel line, the system itself, does hold fuel pressure. That's about it. This is a shorty, but a goodie, and a quickie. And I will see you guys next time. Go yell, make nitro or gas great again. I'm gonna do that in a little while.
It all started with an HPR racing RS4, and it will never